Hello and welcome to this video. In this one we're going to be taking a look at this TechZone Stellar X2. This is a large capsule condenser microphone that requires phantom power. It has a cardioid pickup pattern, and they asked me to take a look at this and give them some thoughts and make a bit of a video on it. So full disclosure before we go any further, they did send this free of charge on the condition that I made a video. I did say to them in our conversation though that it would be an entirely unbiased thing. If there's anything I found they could improve on or I didn't like about it, I wouldn't hold back on it, and they have in no way had any input on how this video is formatted or scripted. So this is how it comes out of the box. You can see on the top we've got a link to their website, that way around. We've got a picture of the microphone itself with the branding on. The side it just says Stellar X2, the other side just says Stellar X2, X2 on the front, and on the back, designed in Southern California. Let's open the box and have a look at what's inside it. Now, as you noticed on the rear of the packaging, the capsule itself is handmade. It's in a mass-produced Chinese sort of standard body, but the circuitry and components inside, which actually matter, they are what have the biggest impact on the sound, are of higher quality. The only thing in a similar price bracket to this at the time of filming is the Rode NT2A, which is retailing for around about £220–230 on Amazon. This is retailing for around about the £230-ish mark. So when you open the outer cardboard box, the first thing you see is this case within. This is a miniature flight case of sorts, protective storage case for the mic, and as you can see we see TZ Audio Products, which stands for TechZone, premium quality with unrivaled sound. So as mentioned before, the focus on this is being the best sounding microphone it can for the money. So it's the Stellar X2, a large diaphragm studio condenser microphone with a transparent sound. The frequency response with this is pretty flat and relatively true to life. I'm going to try and use this as a room microphone, a vocal just talking microphone, acoustic guitar, etc. We'll try it on a few things and I'll let you decide on that. So that's the front of the box anyway. The surround of the casing, we've got some rubber feet on the bottom here and here. We've got two catches. The top case just lifts over, and here we've got some protective foam to hold everything in place. We have a little carrying bag that feels sort of leather-esque with a zip on the top, similar to the Shure ones that come with the SM58s, SM57s, etc. Little pouch. We've also got in here a manual and some information on the tests that have been performed on this. Here it says, your Stellar X2 microphone has undergone extensive testing and inspection by our audio engineer at TechZone Audio Products facility in Southern California. This testing was carried out in accordance with our strict quality control guidelines. There's a date of test completion, which for this particular microphone was the 11th of the 3rd, 2020, and there's a signature of the engineer that tested it along with a little marking. So the test that all of these microphones undergo is a 14-hour burn-in test, Polarization voltage, a frequency sweep, sensitivity test, a noise floor test, and a visual inspection. So that's very nice. That's a little extra you don't get with a lot of microphones. You also get a quick start guide. So this gives you technical support information and live chat, along with a quick diagram showing you how you can use this. So there's the microphone itself in a shock mount, which is also included. We'll show you that in a moment. You require an XLR cable. It must be an XLR to XLR for these because it's a condenser. It requires 48 volts of phantom power to work. Then you can plug it into an audio interface on the computer, which I'll probably do, or a mixing desk, or also you can use a little portable audio recorder, but the microphone output has got to have a 48 volt option to provide power to the microphone. Or you can also buy an inline box that you put a battery in that will provide phantom power between a unit that can't and the microphone, but that starts to get messy and a bit awkward to set up. So if you can get a device with 48 volt phantom built in, that's ideal. So in here we've got another letter This tells us a little bit more about the microphone itself. So the Stellar X2 uses a high quality steel body with a custom made low noise transformerless FET circuit and a high quality K67 style capsule. The combination of these two features yields a microphone with a high output signal, extremely low distortion and low self noise. Furthermore, each JFET in the Stellar X2 is manually biased to ensure a smooth and balanced sound. Our capsule is based on the classic Neumann U87/U67 with additional changes to provide a more sensitive microphone in combination with our high frequency attenuation custom circuit. The K67 capsule in this microphone does not sound overly harsh. It produces sound that is warm and neutral and makes it perfect for a variety of sound sources. Every Stellar X2 goes through our intensive testing at our facility in Southern California. This includes a frequency sweep test in our anechoic chamber, as well as a self-noise test to ensure every circuit performs within the specifications. So we've also got technical specifications and a frequency response chart. So as mentioned earlier up here, these microphones are designed to be relatively transparent and true to life. What goes in more or less comes out as you would expect and sounds natural. So you can see the response here goes right down to around about 30 Hz, 20, 30, 40, 50 Hz. 30 Hz, 32-ish is probably where it starts to roll off gently. Not by a massive amount, because this is a scale of plus or minus 10 decibels. And 3 dB is a perceived doubling of loudness typically. It's pretty much straight and true, up to about 1K, where there's a very gentle lift, probably around 1K3. Not very much at all. Little bump there, that's right around about 4K to 3K5. Then we have a very subtle dip here, it comes back to 0 around 5K. And then a small bump there, right around 10, 11K. And then a gentle roll off. This is actually a very impressive frequency response chart. To have such a flat response, pretty much within 2 dB, all the way from here to here, is very, very good. Here are the detailed specs of the mic itself. It's a Stellar X2. It's a gold sputtered 34mm K67 style capsule, which is the actual circular microphone capsule that you will see in a moment. It has a frequency range specified of 20 Hz to 18 kHz, which is very valid. It's a cardioid pickup pattern, and I believe this is also a fixed pattern. The sensitivity is minus 31 dB, 0 dB is at 1 volt PA at 1K. It has 140 ohms impedance, and the maximum SPL that it can handle for a 0.5% THD, which is total harmonic distortion, is 130 decibels, which is really quite good as well. The equivalent self-noise, which is the sort of hiss or hum or just noise you would get on a channel from this thing when it's plugged in but it's in silence, is around about 13 dB of noise it would add, which is also very, very quiet for most microphones. And you need 48 volts phantom power plus minus 4 volts, so thereabouts 48 volts to supply to this thing. It's included with an aluminium flight case, the spring shock mount, a 3/8 to 5/8 thread adapter for the microphone stands, a foam wind cover and a leather pouch. So it does specify that is leather. So in the box we've got the foam wind cover or windshield for it. This is also slotted with inside. It's hard to quite show you, but you can see it there. It's thick at the bottom and goes thinner, so it will stay secure onto the head of the microphone. Then in here we've got the actual shock mount to attach it to the stand. This also decouples it from a stand and stops any vibration or noise coming through the floor or stage if you were using this as an overhead or something, for example. So you have adjustment here that gives it that way on the stand. The thread adapter comes pre-fitted into here, so if your microphone stand is of the smaller type, you can screw it straight in, or you can undo this adapter. You might have to use a screwdriver or a coin or something, but that will then come out to allow you to use it on a larger threaded stand. The thread that this reduces to also continues on inside the shock mount, which is quite nice, so you're threading through this and the actual shock mount itself. That's a nice touch to secure it to the stand properly. The shock mount itself has got a bit of weight. I'll get the scales and we'll actually weigh these pieces individually in a moment. You've got a spring clip here, which you press in to widen, allows the insertion of the microphone, and then it will grip it with these spongy foam pads that are around the inside here. You've got the rubbers here, which give it the shock mount and decouple it from the rest of the stand. So that's quite nice. And then here's the microphone itself, which is actually smaller than I had even expected myself. It's quite a compact size. It's quite nice. So here is the microphone itself. It's in a black powder coated finish. It feels a good solid housing. There's a nice bit of weight to it. It feels quite decent. You've got the silver around the XLR connection in the bottom, with either the gold or gold plated contacts for the connection to stop these corroding. You've got this ridge around the bottom here, and then the branding above it, and then you've got this bigger ridge up here, which will keep the windshield fixed in place if we put this over like so. It's a nice snug fit as well. So we'll pull that down, and you can see that sits just below and won't come off too easily. Around the back we haven't got any markings, it's just nice and plain. There's this one metal bar that goes across the top. You can just about see the gold and brass, the golden and brass colour of the capsule there. That's quite good there if we can get the light on it. So there's the actual capsule that will pick you up on the front. Then around the back we can see that as well. That's quite nice. I may also do a slight disassembly on this and have a look at some of the insides, because you know I like taking things apart on this channel. So let's get a test set up, and I'll show you how I'm gonna, for the most part, try this thing, and then we'll get some samples recorded and see what it's like. Okay, so as previously mentioned, I'm also going to quickly weigh this before we actually set it up and go any further. So the shock mount itself, as I say, has got a bit of weight to it. This weighs 202 grams on its own. The microphone itself, if we can get it to stay because it's round, the microphone itself weighs around 357 grams. So combined, you're looking at around about 560 grams for the pair. The other thing worthy of note is, even though this uses a Chinese sort of cheaper housing and they've concentrated more on the components, the finish is still really nice. There's no sharp edges or anything anywhere. It's all machined really nicely, and the paint is immaculate all the way around to the inside. There's really no imperfections on it that I can see. So the quality controls are fantastic, even for a Chinese enclosure housing. Okay, so here's our test setup for this right here now, clips that are going to follow. So I have the microphone itself. I've for the moment put it on this small boom stand here. It's just something convenient and it fits on screen quite nicely for the moment. We've got the microphone itself here. That's going to be connected via this XLR to XLR cable with Nutric connectors on it, good quality cable. Then that's going to be plugged into this Avid Fast Track Solo. This is just a simple USB audio interface that also has phantom power on it. So we have a microphone input here and a USB output here. There's then a switch here that allows us to turn 48 volts on and off for the microphone, which we will need for this condenser. That then goes via USB, and I'm going to connect that to my laptop and we'll do some recordings. So I'll wire this up and show you that now. Okay, so here's a relatively simple basic test setup using just the audio interface straight into the laptop. I'm using Audacity on the computer, which is just a basic audio recording and editing package. No fancy DAW, no EQ, nothing. This is raw straight from the microphone. There is no windshield, pop filter, anything in play. And this is just a test for spoken word. So for this spoken word test, I'm just going to read some of this information sheet that's coming with the microphone. The Stellar X2 uses a high quality steel body with our own custom made low noise transformerless FET circuit and a high quality K67 style capsule. The combination of these two features yields a microphone with a high output signal, extremely low distortion and low self noise. Furthermore, each JFET in the Stellar X2 is manually biased to ensure a smooth and balanced sound. Now for this second test, all I've done is added the windshield on top of the microphone, I'm keeping the same distance, and I'm going to read the same lines again. The Stellar X2 uses a high quality steel body with our custom made low noise transformerless FET circuit and a high quality K67 style capsule. The combination of these two features yields a microphone with a high output signal, extremely low distortion and low self noise. Furthermore, each JFET in the Stellar X2 is manually biased to ensure a smooth and balanced sound. Nothing was changed there, no volume, gain, controls or anything were adjusted. That is exactly the same as the one without the windshield on it. Now let's try something a bit more challenging and musical. In this next clip, we try the microphone as a drum mic. This is stood on a stand behind the drummer, over his right shoulder, sort of central with the kit, angled downwards. This is directly dry, no EQ, no processing or anything, just straight from the microphone. This was trialled at a live gig after doing soundcheck. All the other microphones on the drums are not in use for this recording. This is just the Stellar X2 on the stand behind his head. But surprisingly, it picks up quite a lot of the kick drum, and it's a good balance overall. I was really impressed by how it captured the kit. Also, shout out and thanks to my friend Danny and his band Dream Theater, who were the ones performing on this night. The next thing we trialled the microphone on was with a friend of mine, Tony, doing some acoustic songs. I tried the mic in a variety of different positions. We also tried a couple of different guitars, and I'll just leave you a few clips here to judge by yourself what you think of it. All of these are done with just one mic and have got no processing, EQ or anything done to them. The only thing that changes between them is the positioning.
If I owned that railway and that railroad track was mine, guess I'm moving on a little further down the line.
This next acoustic clip has got some reverb added. Nothing else has been done processing wise though, just reverb.
So mothers, tell your children not to do as I have done, and spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Had one foot on the platform, the other on the train, going on back to New Orleans, to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And Lord, I know
final tests I will use to conclude this video are a Mesa Boogie guitar amp that we mic'd, as you can see on screen now. I don't have any video footage of this, but I did take a couple of photos, and these are the results that we got. And that's where I'm going to leave this video, and I'd be interested to hear your opinion in the comments down below, based on the samples that I've provided. I was very pleasantly surprised at the transparency and quality of the sound that this thing produces, how much it manages to pick up, and by experimenting with the position you can get a really outstanding result. It's a fantastic starting point. It has surprised my friends that helped me out getting the samples for this video together, at just how crisp and clear the results are with it. The build quality is fantastic, the audio quality is amazing. I've been continuing to use this for other projects, of which will be coming up soon, and I really plan to make follow-up videos as well. Potentially some content featuring artists recorded using this microphone going forwards. I could give this a solid recommendation for reliability, and I think it's just suited to pretty much any application. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it interesting or helpful, please leave a like down below. Any questions or feedback, put them in the comment section, I'd love to hear them and I do read all of them. And get subscribed to my channel for future random unboxings, music and technical stuff just like this. Thanks for watching.